What is up, true believers? It's Mason here with Comics and Crosses, where we discuss the eternal truths behind our modern mythology. And it is Friday, April 2nd. And I am going live to just drop in and discuss latest comics going on this week and things like that. So thank you for tuning in, either for those who jump in live and for those who watch on the replay. This is kind of unscheduled, sporadic, but I would like to get in the routine of doing a morning stream. I know when I was commuting, I'm working at home now. That's a part of why the office is so jazzed up, other than just a general appreciation for comics. I know I used to appreciate on my commute listening to YouTube videos or podcasts. I mean, I wouldn't watch the YouTube videos while I was driving, of course, never do that. But for things like this, people chatting about comics and other subjects I'm into, it's fun. I enjoy it. So a few little updates. Let's just talk about what's out this week. It was really a light week for me, to be honest. So here's what I picked up. Well, I picked up Alien, which came out last week, but I actually got the Scotty Young cover, and then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna just kind of not go. I'm just gonna not touch the Scotty Young cover, get myself an A cover and read that for spec purposes. Maybe it'll be worth something, maybe it won't. But anyhow, the book though is very good. Is it Philip Kennedy Johnson? Yeah, I've been liking him. I saw an interview with him on Lost in Comics, another YouTube channel that I highly recommend. And he's just a guy who really he's taken over the Superman titles right now, Action and Superman. And he's a writer who really thinks in depth about his material. So if you were to ask him a question about something not even mentioned in the comic, he's thought it through. So hearing that from him, I thought, well, I really want to jump into his world, and been liking what he's setting up with Superman and setting up with this new Alien series. So sci-fi fans, check it out. I thought the first issue was good. It was a good setup, and hopefully more good things coming from that. Also, though, I picked up Shadecraft issue 1. It's a new one from Image. I think most of my favorite titles are from Image usually. So I thought I'd check it out. It's from, let's see, Henderson. I forget his first name, and Garbett. But they did something called Skyward, another indie title that I guess did pretty well. So I thought I would check this out. It's kind of an interesting, sort of reminds me of like movie Darkness Falls, if anybody saw that back in the day, where you can't go in the dark, otherwise some monster lady, the tooth fairy, will get you. It's kind of a weird thing, but I thought it was decent. It was an interesting setup. I mean, I'm down to read one more issue and see if it stays cool. It's kind of like, a young girl in high school, and her brother's in a coma, and then these strange shadow monsters are chasing her. So a little bit of a teen angst and shadow monsters. So, if that sounds like your cup of tea, give it a shot. Read the solicits, see what you think. Other than that, so I got a bunch of random stuff in my rack this week. But actually, so I got X-Men number 19. And so X-Men is has been good from Hickman, I think. Kind of a mixed bag. I'm not reading all the other X titles. I just was interested to see what Hickman was going to do. Dawn of X or the House of X, Powers of 10 was pretty interesting. Hickman can be challenging to read through and grasp at times because it's so dense and thorough, but I'm reading it. I thought the 10 of Cards was it was interesting. It was kind of funny. The ending was surprising. Didn't end up being. It felt like it wasn't serious at all, or nothing kind of mattered. I mean, that one Cypher guy got a a wife out of it, but didn't feel so significant when everything came down. So I'm reading it. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens. We'll see. I'm also collecting and trying to catch up on Hickman's Fantastic Four run, and which I have almost all of, and then the Avengers as well that led into Affinity and Secret Wars and stuff. So so we shall see. And then the last thing I got yesterday, or Wednesday rather, was The Flash 768. I haven't read this yet, but honestly, I picked it up because Wally West came back, and I was born in '86, so so Wally is my Flash. I guess sometimes there's some people who have pretty strong feelings about this sometimes, or they get sick of hearing people complain about Wally, but I mean, he was my Flash, and I've always liked the idea of the mantle passing, and when they go and just switch it back, I feel like that's kind of cheap, and so I mean, just let change happen every now and again. What do you say? So those were the comics I picked up. I was expecting to pick up Second Coming, Only Begotten Son, issue 3, which is from Ahoy Comics. It's, if you don't know, it's the story of Jesus rooming with a superhero, kind of like a Superman type character. It has been kind of controversial. It was supposed to be released through DC, the first volume, and then DC had to pass on it because there's obviously dealing with Jesus and stuff, too much controversy. But Ahoy Comics printed the comic, and it's hilarious. I will warn, somebody had even questioned, I did a review of issue 2 of the current volume, and it is highly offensive. I mean, if you're offended by the mocking of God and things like this, then it could be a problem for you, Second Coming. But what I kind of told somebody who asked in my comments is that I feel like there's still a reverence towards Jesus. I think the writer is, has a respect for Jesus and sort of a not so great appreciation or understanding of God from, the biblical perspective. So meaning, God is shown as this kind of like just mess of a self-indulgent person. And I would argue that viewing God that way, now there could be some strong motivation in there, but you might find that if you view God that way, it's because you yourself are kind of self-centered and absorbed. Now, I don't know Mark Russell, and I'm not trying to say he is, but if you think about it, if you're viewing God that way, it's because he's not doing what you want him to do. Which, think about that for a second. I think God is selfish and childish and only cares about himself and doesn't, it's like, well, who am I to believe that the creator of the universe, if he exists should conform more to what I would say he should do. And you can get into, there's all this suffering and things that are ignored, and I'm not a super intellectual. I'm not an apologist, and I just say, life can be hard, and there's a lot of things I don't know, a lot of things I don't understand. But all that said, I like how Jesus is treated in this series, at least so far. I'm catching up on Volume 1, have been reading Volume 2 of Second Coming. Second volume is called Only Begotten Son. And so when I feel a personal conviction to be engaged in comic books and in storytelling, this is something. I've always been a writer, and I've loved comic books since I was a kid, and the thing is, for some people, you might feel like, oh, I can't. It just upsets me, offends me, and that's fine. I'm not telling everybody they need to. But you know what? I feel like I feel like I love comic books. I love the people in the comic book community that I'm meeting and getting to know. I love the creators. I appreciate their work even when I disagree with some of what they're saying or their angle that they're going with. And you know what? I've heard far worse stuff from people in real life than to get offended by what somebody's putting in a book, for entertainment value. I've seen far more offensive movies, and I think most Christians have. But, we want to play indignant when something seems blasphemous. But truthfully, we probably watched worse the other night on Amazon Prime or Netflix. And so I never want to come off high and mighty. That's my thought. That's my 10 cents. So those were the comics of the week. As I was mentioning, I didn't get Second Coming because it's been pushed back to June. I put something out on Twitter, and Mark Russell was nice enough to respond, and Ahoy Comics to let me know that they had solicited for March, April, May, and I think it got just those solicits got canceled and pushed back, so it's going to be June, July, August, presumably. For the completion of the story. So that's great. I'm looking forward to that. Real quick, let's see if I can look up what's coming out next week. Why don't I do that? And in fact, I can even share with you guys. How do I do this? Share screen. Easiest with 2 monitors. Oh, interesting. Okay, share screen. Share. Will you allow StreamYard to see your screen? StreamYard. Entire screen. Boy, they make this thing trickier than you would think. Here I am trying to share screen. Okay. You can choose quit Firefox now or do it on your own. Okay. So I don't know. Let's see if this works. Boom. Okay, here we go. Wow, I'm seeing a lot of stuff. Okay, so here is the League of Comic Geeks where I keep track of my polls. Sorry for the delay here. Thanks for waiting, people. So this was this week. As I showed, I got Flash, Shadecraft, and X-Men, and then Second Coming got pushed back. So let's see if I can jump to next week. So coming out next week on 4/7. Oh, we got some good ones. So we got Batman 107. I kind of like where the story is going. I actually am that first issue back with the Scarecrow and stuff was really cool. I like what's going on with Damian right now. I'm excited to read Robin, that new series that's coming out with Damian. And Detective Comics was surprisingly good. I was nervous. I loved Tomasi, was it? Who was previously writing Detective, and then Tamaki, I think, is now writing it, and so I was a little nervous about that. But I liked what she did in Future State, and so yeah. Anyway, Batman's looking good right now, looking solid. Bliss, one of my favorite series, is coming back next week for Bliss issue 6. I think there's going to be 8 total issues in this series, is what I heard. So Bliss, if you haven't read it, I think you must. It is so good. Firepower, number 10. Firepower from Kirkman. You may know him from such titles as The Walking Dead, Invincible. He's kind of a slow burn kind of guy, it turns out. So his stories the pacing is really slow, but it gets very rich. It starts to, if you hang with him, I think it starts to feel like the world is very well thought out, well imagined. So Firepower has kind of had some ups and downs in terms of pacing and, but I like where it's going right now. There's like a big battle that's about to happen. A character came back that we weren't expecting. And then there's Immortal Hulk number 45. This series has been super interesting, and I think really taken the Hulk to a cool place. And so that one's continuing, supposed to end at issue 50, I hear. So we'll see how it goes. If you're not on it might be kind of late to come in, but you can always get the trades. I highly recommend it. I think if you pick up first trade of Immortal Hulk, you'll be hooked. That's what happened to me. I came in a little late, but I got that first volume, and I was like, whoa, I got to read this series. The Swamp Thing, issue 2, will be out. This, I kind of feel like, is DC's Immortal Hulk. It's kind of got this horror, like, horror feel to it. It's by Ram V, who's been writing some super great stuff lately. Definitely dig him. I mean, I'm loving what he's doing on Catwoman. I never thought I'd even pick up Catwoman, but I'm picking it up because of him. So Swamp Thing, also, the first issue was really good. Then we got The Walking Dead number 12. I never read The Walking Dead, and so now I am via this deluxe in color edition. And so actually what I'm planning to do, and I might do it start after this week, is this is kind of crazy to say, but I haven't even been reading these books. I've been picking them up because I want to make one video of just, like, I don't know if I'm going to read all of them in one day or read each issue and do a little short video clip, but I want to record my entire reaction to the entire Walking Dead series, which I think will be fascinating for people who have already read it. And you know, to see how I react to it. So anyhow, that is what's coming up this week. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you get out to your LCS, support your local comic shop, and pick up some of these titles. I don't pick up everything. You know, I know some of my friends in the comic book community have like 80 pulls and stuff like that. So let's see, what am I not picking up? I'm not getting Amazing Spider-Man next week, or Venom. I haven't really been reading, although I'm reading King in Black just because I was curious to check it out, and it's been a cool series. Not reading Avengers, any of the other X books. I'm not reading High Republic. I looked at the first book and it just seemed, I don't know. Never read a Star Wars comic, really, not since I was a kid. Nocterra number 2 is coming out. Nocterra number 1 was pretty sweet. Oh, and Geiger. I want to see this. Let's see. So I'm pulling Nocterra for sure. And then Far Sector, I hear, is really good from DC about this other. And then Geiger, I was thinking about picking up. I'll probably grab issue 1, see if it is good. But it's like Jeff Johns, and I forget who the artist is, but it looked like a good team. So that's coming out from Image. Geiger. Here, let me. It's gonna wrap up, but let me share my screen here real quick. Just do this. Boom. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so check this out. So we got Geiger. If you haven't heard of it, it's coming out next week from Image. Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. That's right. Yeah. Superman, Supergirl, Incredible Hulk. The team from Doomsday Clock. One of the most anticipated series, blah, blah, blah. Who are the scavengers of a dying Earth? Geiger is set in the years since a nuclear war ravaged the planet, another post-apocalyptic thing, blah, blah, blah. Desperate outlaws battle for survival in a world of radioactive chaos. Out past the poison wasteland lives a man, even the night crawlers and Oregon people fear. Some name him Joe Glow, others call him the Meltdown Man, but his name is Geiger. So I don't know what that's going to mean, but it looks interesting. You know, I mean, worth giving a look, right? So, yeah, that's coming out next week. More King in Black tie-ins. Suicide Squad, I didn't pick up. Crime Syndicate, no. Batman Second Son, didn't care that much. I mean, yeah, I feel like, yeah. 7 Secrets, issue 7. I picked up the first issue of 7 Secrets and didn't care for the premise. Seemed cheesy to me, and I didn't go for it. Yeah, so Buffy, Man Bat, some random stuff here. America Chavez. I hear she's going to be in a Marvel movie, an MCU movie, but I don't know. Deep Beyond, I picked up issue 1 and thought, why waste my money? So, Origins coming out. And then I think we're getting into more of our indie stuff, Ink Blot. So, yeah, so I'm not reading any. Oh, Nottingham. I am reading Nottingham. I should be pulling this. Come on. Why is it? Pull series. Hopefully, I can get a second print of the issue 1 because I heard that it was already, first print was already going for something. Oh, I am also pulling James Bond Agents of Spectre. Good thing I'm checking this. I'm like not up to date here in League of Comics. So I will be pulling James Bond, Agent of Spectre #2. The first one seemed like a cool setup. Nice to check out a James Bond story that very much feels like it could be in the universe of the current movie series with Daniel Craig and all that. So I will be getting that. I like the first issue. Nottingham, I'm getting, but I haven't read the first issue yet because I'm trying to see if I can get a second print to just read and hang on to. I don't know if I'll ever try to sell it or anything, but oh man, look at all these comics I didn't know was coming out. The Resistance Uprising. So I read the first volume of The Resistance and I thought, I'm just going to let it go. But then that one shot that they put out, Reborns, was super good, but it was just like stories about these different reborns. So I don't know if all of them will be good or I don't know. I was really on the fence about continuing with The Resistance because it was kind of a boring series to me, the first one. Although, the one shot kind of won me back over, but I don't know. So I might get it. Now, see, now my pull is, now this week is getting huge all of a sudden because I didn't realize. There's an issue 1 coming out, Project Patron from Aftershock Comics. Let's see what this is about. 30 years ago, the world watched in horror as the Patron, a hero sent as humanitarian aid from a different dimension, went punch for punch with Woe, a primordial beast and a perfect match for our mighty protector. In the end, hero and villain alike fell, but the Patron returned and continues to defend us to this day. At least that's what we've all been told. The truth is, the Patron died that day along with Woe. The UN replaced the Patron with a Reploid, designed to mimic the real Patron and continue on his mission of protection. Today, the Patron Reploid is secretly piloted by an elite team, a team prepared for anything except for the death of one of their own. Steve Orlando, Patrick Pizzalunga. Well, sounds kind of interesting. It's from Aftershock Comics. They've had some good stuff coming out lately, I would say. I don't know if I would pull this one. I mean, it potentially could be surprisingly interesting, but I feel like that doesn't really tell you very much. I mean, I guess sort of the setup, but they could really go anywhere with that. Yeah, so that's Project Patron from Aftershock, also coming out next week. Bunch of other stuff. Duplicant #1 from Second Sight Publishing. That's an interesting cover. Okay, last one we'll look up and then we'll end this. From Carla Nappi. Duplicant is a thriller about the forces conspiring against one man who offers hope during a pandemic. Wow. That man is Matt Travers, a scientist who creates duplicate organs that saves humanity from the organ failure contagion. Only their high-cost forces people into indentured servitude. In answer to this, a dangerous black market arises, which is run by a religious fanatic and Matt's former mentor. Following Matt's life-changing encounter with a duplicant, a recipient of his technology, he comes to question everything he knows and strives to learn. Well, this sounds really interesting. I don't know how many shops are stocking Second Sight Publishing. I'm not familiar. Maybe I should be. But that sounds really interesting. I don't know if I'll even be able to get this, but maybe I'll look for it. I think I got too many things this week to pull all the things I want to. But let's see. So next week, yeah, look at that. All of a sudden, all these things I'm interested in. Will I get them all? Maybe not. We'll see. So anyway, that is the story, folks. Thanks for tuning in. For those of you that turned in live or on the replay. And I hope you're enjoying some good reads out there. Tell me if any of these are on your list and if you're liking them, what you think. And I hope to see you all next week. Have a great weekend. Happy Easter. Today is Good Friday. Look at me. I've done all this. I haven't said anything about Good Friday. Well, it's no secret that I am a Christian. And today is Good Friday. For those of you that don't know, it is the day where we remember when Jesus was crucified. He was put to public execution, basically rejected by the people he came to save, because they hated him, because he did not prop up their own sense of self-righteousness, but rather pointed to a righteousness that comes only from God. Even though he was God, he was humble as a man. And the Jewish people wanted him to become king, to overthrow the Roman government, and be a sort of uprising leader. And he was not. Instead, he upended their system of self-righteousness. He came to a people who were very religious and who had adopted many laws to their culture to establish what they thought would make them right in God's eyes. Some of it directly given from God, a lot of it added on by themselves. And and what he showed was what makes you right in God's eyes is your heart, is humility, is and he made right the relationship between God and man by accepting a death that every person deserves. So Christianity is universal in that. It's not universal in that everything goes, because mutually exclusive ideas cannot both be true. However, it is universal in that hey, everybody's condemned in the same way. Everybody deserves death, but everyone was given, instead of what they deserve, was given mercy, and mercy triumphed over judgment. And so Jesus died. That's a story of redemption. That's a story of putting others above yourself, of showing true love. There's no greater love than this, that a man laid down his life for a friend, modeled, of course, by Jesus. So happy Good Friday, happy Easter. I hope that your life is full of the love of Christ, whether you believe in him or not. I hope that your life is full of the love of Christ. Hear what I'm saying? This is the best way that this Christian man can express love and goodness towards you. Were I Muslim, I might express it a different way. Were I some other religion, I might express it a different way. But to anyone out there, thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for taking part. Thank you for being connected in Instagram or Twitter or anything like that. I love this comic book community, and I wish everyone out there just the most love in Christ. So God bless everybody. Have a great weekend. Hope you get some time to relax, maybe barbecue, see some family, or safely, of course. And until next time, peace.